Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're diving straight into an explainer on a really exciting one, the highly anticipated Claude Code 21212 update. Now, if you've been messing around with agentic workflows lately, you already know they are incredibly powerful. But let's be real, managing them can sometimes feel a bit like wrestling a very fast, very eager octopus, right? Well, today we're going to dig into the source material together and see how this new update brings some absolutely crucial quality of life upgrades straight to your terminal. Look, we've all been there. Have you ever had your agent just totally run away with like 500 back-to-back web searches while you just sit there helplessly watching your token budget evaporate? Or, maybe you kicked off a massive refactoring task, only to realize it completely blocked your main terminal thread, forcing you to just twiddle your thumbs until it finished. We have all felt that chaos. But the good news is, the solutions in this patch are genuinely going to make those developer headaches a thing of the past. All right, so here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at unblocking flow with revamped background sessions. Second, taming AI with loop prevention. And third, across-the-board bug fixes. Let's get right into it. Section 1. Unblocking flow. Background sessions. Okay, so this is arguably the biggest conceptual shift in the entire 2.1.212 release. Think back to the old way. Previously, using the /fork command launched an in-session subagent. And sure, it was helpful, but it completely blocked your main thread. You literally couldn't do anything else. But now, /fork copies your entire conversation into a brand new, dedicated background session. It actually gets its own separate row inside your Claude agents, which means you can just keep working in your original session completely uninterrupted. Oh, and don't worry, that old in-session blocking behavior didn't just vanish. They smartly moved it to a new command called /subtask. I really want you to think of this as basically gaining a truly independent AI coworker. You can branch off some exploratory, long-running research, or maybe a really complex refactor, without ever losing your primary terminal space. You don't have to break your own flow just because the agent is grinding away on something else. The fork gets its own life cycle, its own state, and its own place in the agent view. And there's this fantastic little quality of life touch, too. If you fork a session without giving it a title, the copy automatically names itself based on your prompt. That makes it incredibly easy to spot in your agent list later when you've got, 5 different ideas brewing at once. The resume flow also got a massive upgrade that ties perfectly into this new background workflow. Now, when you run /resume in the agent view, it pops open a really slick picker of your past sessions. Yep, even the ones you've deleted from the active list. You just select one and it seamlessly resumes right there as a background session. But the absolute best part, when you cold attach to that background agent, you no longer have to stare at a blank boot screen, just waiting for the context to load. You get to see the formatted transcript instantly. It is noticeably faster, and it keeps you completely in the zone. Moving on to Section 2, Taming AI. Loops prevention. So, if that first section was all about freedom, this section is 100% about peace of mind and serious cost control. Let's define the exact problem we're solving here. The dreaded runaway loop. This is a terrifying failure mode where an agent just continuously triggers subagents or web searches without actually making any real progress. It basically just spins its wheels in an infinite loop, absolutely draining your token budget in the background while you go grab a coffee. It's a very real issue in agentic workflows, and this update finally brings in some urgent automatic guardrails to stop it dead in its tracks. So here is your new magic number, 200. By default, both web search tool calls and subagent spawns are now given a strict hard cap of exactly 200 per session. The agent simply cannot exceed this limit without stopping and asking for your explicit permission. This acts as a brilliant little circuit breaker, just making sure that an aggressive exploratory search doesn't accidentally turn into a giant surprise bill at the end of the month. But hey, we're developers, right? We love having ultimate control. So these limits aren't locked in stone. You can tune them specifically to your workflow by setting the environment variables for max web searches or max subagents per session. If you're doing a massive system-wide refactor and you know for a fact you'll need more leeway, just bump the number up in your config. And if you happen to hit your limit organically during a really heavy productive session, all you have to do is run /clear to reset your subagent budget right on the fly. Super simple. Oh, and there is one more excellent fail-safe built into this update. If an MCP tool call runs longer than 2 minutes, it now automatically moves to the background. This is huge because it guarantees that your terminal stays responsive, even if a remote process completely hangs up on you. You're literally never just stuck waiting on a stalled server again. And yes, you guessed it, that 2-minute threshold is also fully configurable via an environment variable, or you can just choose to disable it entirely if you want absolute manual control. All right, Section 3, bug fixes across the board. Let's do a rapid-fire rundown of the crucial polish that removes a ton of daily friction. First up, plan mode. It used to just auto-run file-modifying bash commands like touch and rm without even asking you, which, let's face it, is mildly terrifying when an AI is at the wheel. Well, that is fixed. It now properly halts and asks for your permission. Next, work tree creation could previously follow assembling can accidentally write files entirely outside your repository. That boundary issue, officially patched. And for all you Windows users, the daemon was failing to start background sessions when group policy blocked PowerShell 5.1. It now smartly prefers PowerShell 7 right out of the gate. Keeping that momentum going, /ultrareview just got a whole lot smoother. It now easily accepts PR references like #123, as well as pasted PR URLs, and it will even fetch branches from origin when they exist remotely. That's going to save you a bunch of manual Git fetching. Also, if you've ever had a running bash tool orphan its entire process tree when interrupted, you know how annoying that is to clean up. Well, that terminal abort handling is finally fixed. The CLI now cleanly kills the tree and exits with code 143. Finally, prompt caching improvements mean it now works flawlessly behind LLM gateways like Bedrock, Vertex, and custom base URLs, which is an absolute game changer for enterprise teams. I also really have to highlight this brilliant, quiet little money-saving tweak. Token usage in inter-agent messaging has been significantly reduced. Basically, send message bodies are no longer duplicated into your replayed history and tool results. It's a subtle architectural detail, sure, but man, those tokens add up incredibly fast over a long coding session. This is going to be a very, very welcome optimization for your wallet. Now, to get all the real-world context on how to actually integrate these features into your daily routines, I highly recommend checking out the official resources. You can read the full manual over at cloudmaster.net, or you can dive into the complete changelog directly on the official Claude Code GitHub repository. The documentation there is absolutely fantastic for setting up those custom environment variables we talked about earlier. And that brings us to the end of today's explainer. But I want to leave you with a quick thought to take back to your IDE. With infinite loops finally solved and true, non-blocking background workflows completely unlocked, what limits are you going to push your agents to next? It is such a fantastic time to upgrade, test out these exciting new boundaries, and see just how much faster you can build. Thanks so much for exploring this update with me, and hey, happy coding.